If anybody knows Burcroft, and what I stand for is you have to have core values. So our team has heard these over and over again, but it's really important to know. Core values are this. Core values are what you hire, you fire, and you make sure you're making all your decisions on. They're not nice to have, they're a must-have, okay? So what we have is open and honest. In our meetings, we have to be able to challenge each other. Right or wrong, share facts, be open and honest. I ask my team and others to do reviews and give me feedback. Sometimes the truth isn't easy to hear, is it? Sometimes honesty hurts. When you look back and you look at the facts and take the emotion out, you're like, hey, that's good. You can make better decisions that way. Can-do attitude. If you're on the Burcroft team, we have to find solutions, ways to get it done. It's easy to say no, especially in government. No, we don't do that. No, we can't help you with that. I'm sorry. No, Neil, you want to do that? No, doesn't work. No, can't do that. We got to find ways to do it. Innovative solutions that are within the law, that are ethical. There are things and ways you can find to get solutions for employees, for developers, for residents. And then bottom line is, and my team's been reminding me of this, my pastor too, make sure you have healthy balance, right? We can do it all. We can give to our communities, our churches, but our family has to come first. And I told people in the campaign season, I told them when they're on my team, if you're missing a soccer game, a dance lesson, something because you're at one of my events, I'm going to think less of you. So, family first. We have a value statement. A lot of businesses in the room, right? Businesses have what they call a value proposition. It's what you bring to the table, right, that your competition can't easily emulate. Well, in government, it's the same thing. We have a value statement. It's what we're all about. And not that, you don't want employees or our residents really to memorize this. This isn't about memorizing. We put a little acronym of CAN there to keep it fresh and what it means. But ideally, in an employee's own words, they should be able to tell the story. What are we about? So it's not a right answer for someone to fire off and memorize what this says, but you better hear in their story and what they're saying, you better hear customer service. You better hear how we can serve the customer, which is the resident. It's the business, the person that we're bringing that value to. You hopefully better hear some solutions. You better hear that can do, what we can do to help them. And sometimes you have to push yourself to be new and innovative in those ideas. You can't just keep doing it the same old way and expect different results. So that's our value statement. That's what we live and breathe. You'll see it at departments posted. And it's not just about a poster. What it is more important is about what it means. It's what it means in DPW, right, Keith? When we have people coming in, when they have an issue. How big or how small, it's how we're taking care of it. It's about animal control, right? It's making sure we're doing it, and we're doing it with compassion, and we're coming up with solutions. Some of you that may have heard last year, as we talk about this thing called rocks, and real quick definition of rocks would be, simple analogy, you got a jar, right? Your rock should be the most important 5 to 7 things you need to get done in a time frame. In this case, those rocks represent that. And if you have a captured size jar, and the rocks are those most important things, and the sand is everything else that fills up our day, right? The emails, the phone calls, the voicemails, all the meetings, all the interaction. That's the stuff that fills it in. Well, if you fill the sand in, or if you're building sand castles, that's not going to work. You're never going to get your rocks in, right? If you put the rocks in, the most important things first, now that stuff flows in. Now you're going to get your priorities right. So what we run, and you'll hear me talk about where this comes from, the EOS system. Burcroft didn't invent this. I just pull best practices. So let's take a look at some rocks that we did in 2014. We run our rocks in a quarterly cycle. So every quarter we set those most important things that we need to do. Our goal is 80% or better. My mother was a teacher, right? You better come home with a B. I don't want to talk to my dad. Better come home with a B, so it better be 80% or better. We did 91% complete. Now, I don't know if you can see all those. There's a lot of stuff up here. You probably in the back maybe can't read them all. We're going to talk about and highlight some of them. But you know what? This isn't what Burcroft did. This was a team, right? Everybody involved. What I'd like to do, First, I'd like to have my strategy team stand up real quick, would you please? Come on. Julie, Bobby, where are you, everybody? JD, Bob, Suzanne. We sit in quarterly meetings and we grind it out, don't we, on what those rocks are. Now, look at that first quarter. They wanted to choke me. We had, that 100-day plan was really aggressive. And they said, hey, Mayor, we need to cool it. We got a lot done. Stay standing. Come on. Next, our department heads and those departments. Stand up. Rest of the team. Come on. You guys here. Lynn, come on. Linda, you're part of the team. Stand up. Maria, come on. Don't be shy. This is a good team. Good job. You know, it's that old saying, you surround yourself with good people and good things get done. City council, clerk, treasurer, stand up. I can't get this done without your help. Thank you. When I bring these things to city council, we're working on them in the budget. They've been behind it. The opening of parks, the programs, employee recognition. This is awesome work. 91%. That's pretty good. Let's give all ourselves a round of applause for that. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm not going to go over all of those, but a couple that I think are really significant that I think we do need to talk about that were key. The fast track process, I'm going to talk about that in more detail. Bringing cable programming and getting the message out, you're going to hear more about that. When I came in office, I said we've got to tell people what we're doing. They have to feel part of government, so we've done a ton of things in that area. Taking our teams on the road. I'm going to show you some of the businesses we've gone to, and I want to continue that to bridge the gap between government and its business residents. There were a ton of operational efficiencies that we had to put in place. Coming from the business world, when I came in, I was kind of amazed that we didn't have some things in place. We didn't have job descriptions, some policies and procedures that need to get touched up and cleaned up. Communication is huge. We're going to talk more about that, making sure we're telling our message in many different ways. You can't just communicate one way. It's got to be many different forms. Employee development and recognition. We can't do anything without the employees. You can have the best leader, the best counsel. You got to have employees that day in, day out, live and breathe that value statement and have those core values and execute and get it done. And we have a lot of great employees. Recreation department, that's something we spent a lot of time in. You'll hear that in the look ahead too. But let's look a little more at some of those. Fast track, there's the train coming down the track, right? Historical Pearl, we got a freight house, we were known for railroad, right? Well, we're pulling that analogy, and where this came from and we rolled out last year is basically how do we make it a good experience with business to come into government and find places to develop, either redevelop, reoccupy, or build new. And we need to make sure that there's a friendly process for doing that. We talk to developers. This is one of Tim Key's major initiatives. Tim, put down your fork and stand up again. This is Tim. Tim, along with Bobby Dickerson. Where's Bobby? Stand up. Give him. This isn't about Burcroft. These guys work together, put together a plan to make sure that when people come in, they can walk them through that process. Bob McCrate, where are you? Put on your fork. Stand up again, Bob. Make sure that we're walking them through from building and so forth, right? So what this is someone comes in and it's telling them what we can do, right, Tim? You guys sit down and eat again. I keep cutting into your lunch. But it's really having it be a good experience. Tell them what you can do. Fast track meaning bring everybody to this table that has to do with this development. Now, what's your issue? What's your issue? How can we figure it out? How can we come up with a solution? And then be honest with the person what we can do or what we can't do. Tim had some broker breakfast and some other meetings we went to. We heard some good feedback, things we need to get better. We met with some developers. We said, hey, how do we rank compared to other people? How do we get better? They were open and honest. Some of it hurt, but that's how you get better, right? So this fast track is going to be tested this upcoming year. I'm looking forward to that.